Welcome back to the Time Capsule Podcast, where your family history becomes your greatest legacy. I'm your host, Barbara Beauregard, and today we are talking about one of the most powerful and sometimes most misunderstood tools in modern genealogy, DNA. DNA testing has transformed the way we research our families. It can open doors, it can answer questions, and it can even change lives. But like any tool, it has strengths and limitations. Knowing both is the key to using DNA wisely and responsibly. So today, we're going to talk about what DNA can tell you, and just as importantly, what DNA cannot. And we'll do it in a way that keeps things simple, clear, and grounded, even if you're new to DNA testing. Let's begin. DNA testing shines in one major area: identifying biological relationships. When you send in a DNA sample, your genetic information is compared to millions of other people in the company's database. If someone shares enough segments of DNA with you, the company will list them as a match, and that's where the magic and the detective work begins. DNA can identify biological parents, siblings, half-siblings, cousins, grandparents, aunts and uncles, and extended branches of the family tree. This can be life-changing for adoptees, for people with unknown parentage, or for families affected by misattributed parentage events. DNA can also confirm what you think you know. It can help verify whether a paper trail is correct, or whether two branches of a family really do connect the way the traditional records suggest. And one of the most helpful tools is something called shared matches. These are people who appear as matches to both you and another person. Shared matches can help you narrow down which side of your family a connection belongs to, maternal or paternal, or even which grandparent's line. This alone makes DNA an incredibly powerful tool in genealogy. But of course, many people notice something else first when they get their results: ethnicity estimates. Let's talk about those for a moment. Ethnicity estimates can be fascinating. They're fun, sometimes surprising, and occasionally meaningful, but they're based on large statistical comparisons and reference panels, not precise indicators of your lineage. Think of them as broad, regional snapshots, not exact percentages. They can shift over time as the company improves its models. So, enjoy them, but don't build your family tree on them. With that said, DNA truly does provide us with information no paper record ever could. But as powerful as DNA is, it also has limitations. And this is where many genealogists get stuck or confused. Because DNA cannot do everything. It can't build your family tree for you. It can't tell you names, dates, locations, or stories. It doesn't know your great-grandmother's maiden name. It doesn't know where your ancestors lived or what their lives were like. DNA only knows one thing: how much genetic material you share with another person. Everything else requires records, timelines, family histories, and careful analysis. So, while DNA can confirm connections, it cannot replace traditional genealogy. Here's another limitation. DNA doesn't always tell you the exact nature of a relationship. You might share a similar amount of DNA with a half-sibling and an aunt, a first cousin and a great-aunt, a second cousin and a half-first cousin once removed. The numbers by themselves aren't enough. Context matters. Things like age, location, and who lived near whom. And sometimes the answer simply isn't in the database yet. The person you need to match with may not have tested. A key cousin may have passed away before DNA testing became available, or the record that proves the connection may not have survived. DNA can point you in the right direction, but it doesn't hand you the entire map. And sometimes, DNA reveals things you weren't expecting: new relatives, unknown connections, or surprises that require time, compassion, and careful thought. All of this is part of the human side of genetic genealogy. So, here's the heart of today's episode. DNA is a powerful tool, but it works best when it is paired with traditional research. One doesn't replace the other. They work together like two halves of the same puzzle. DNA points you toward the right branch. Traditional research helps you build it out. DNA confirms relationships. Records explain the story. DNA gives you clues. Genealogy turns those clues into meaning. And that combination is what makes family history so rich and so rewarding. Before we wrap up, I want to give you a small action step, something simple but productive. Take one DNA match you've been ignoring, just one, and take 5 minutes to review it. Look at their family tree. Look at your shared matches. Look at any notes you've made. And ask yourself, which side of the family do they likely belong to? What's one small next step you can take? Can you send a message? Can you compare their tree to your own? Can you add a note about where you think they fit? 5 minutes, that's all. It won't solve everything, but it moves you forward. And progress in genealogy is often just a series of small, thoughtful steps. Remember, DNA is not about perfection, it's about possibilities. And when used wisely, it can help you build one of the clearest, most accurate pictures of your family's story. Thank you for listening to the Time Capsule podcast. For free guides, mini webinars, and legacy tools, visit ancestryseeking.com. Your legacy begins today.